top 5 draft tight ends, starting at 5, making our way up to number 1. At number 5, give me Gunnar Helm, tight end out of Texas. The University of Texas. He is a Longhorn, 6'5", 241 pounds, ran a 4.84, so he's not going to be your quickest tight end. 60 catches, 786 yards, 7 touchdowns, graded at 62.3 by Pro Football Focus. This guy was mostly an inline tight end with a lot of snaps taken there instead of at the slot. All of his measurables, unfortunately, range from slightly above average to below average for the position. Now, he is a natural hands catcher. He tracks the ball like a veteran. Only 2 drops in his entire college career, which I think is elite for the record. He's really good at using his body control in traffic, boxing out defenders, high pointing the football. He's kind of deceptively shifty after the catch. He doesn't go down on first contact like a lot of the bigger tight ends in the NFL that are just hard to take down on the first hit. He's very good in zone coverage. He finds those soft spots. He's a pretty smart blocker who excels on the move as well. Pretty effective at sealing the edge, or he's even got some good split zone action and climbing to the second level defenders to really help out with the run game. He's reliable in pass protection. He's a red zone weapon. We talked about it earlier, just now with the body control in traffic, boxing out the defenders, high pointing the football. You can see that in the corner of the end zone if needed. He's a stronger defensive ends that go up against him can potentially overwhelm him at the point of attack in his run game. In the run game, he does have limited experience running a full route tree, so you're going to want to see more of that brought about at the next level. He does have average speed running a 4.84, and his blocking hand placement at times could lead to him having holds in the NFL. At number 4, give me Colston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan, the Wolverine, 6'6", 248 pounds, ran a 4.7 flat, 56 catches for 582 yards and 5 touchdowns. He was graded at 85.9 by PFF. Now, this is more of a slot tight end, no question about that. He's a very good athlete who plays like a big wide receiver. He's got a big catch radius as well, good natural hands, catches the ball away from his frame, plucks it out of the air. Great route runner with his timing. His breaks at the tight end position is very sought after. He'll also box out defenders, no problem, go high point the football with that 6'6" frame. Now, he can be lethal. Even though he runs a 4.7, he can be lethal on seam routes, catch the defense napping vertically. We know a seam route is one of the nastiest routes for a tight end to run in the league, and if you just know how to have the nuances to run it at a high level, you're going to be getting a lot of production and a good bit of hitting your head on the goalpost for touchdowns. Now, he took snaps inline, in the slot, out wide, produced from all 3 alignments, so that's what makes Colston Loveland potentially able to go higher on this list. He does get overwhelmed by power rushers, though, at times. He struggles to sustain blocks throughout the whistle to really see that finish through the rep and finish through the contact. I think his routes could be sharper. I think he could create some more separation and more advantage with how big his frame is. He does get pushed around too easily at the point of attack in the run game, and he's still very raw at pass protection as well. He has limited experience at pass pro. But overall, a guy who plays like a big wide receiver, runs a 4.7, graded at 86 by PFF, and is good in the slot as a tight end, which I feel like inline tight ends are slowly but surely dying in the NFL because the more we see a slot tight end that's available to do things like a Colston Loveland, like a Kyle Pitts, like a Travis Kelce that can line up in the slot, it's being more sought after. So I've got Colston Loveland out of Michigan at number 4. At number 3, a sneaky, athletic, competitive tight end that is not high on a lot of people's draft boards, but his tape does not lie. That's Elijah Arroyo out of Miami. 6'5", 250 pounds, ran a 4.69, 35 catches for 590 yards and 7 touchdowns. Now, he was graded a little low at 71.7 by PFF. His knee injuries in 2022 and 2023 did limit him to 8 total games, so that probably is some cause for concern. You're going to see NFL medical staffs have to go a lot deeper on that aspect to really see his timeline, his stretch of durability for such a physical sport like football and playing it at the highest level in the NFL. He somewhat reminds me of a Kyle Pitts in a way. Athletic tight end, gets a lot of action in the slot, does very well in open field situations. And, at a 4.69 speed, he can move. He really can move and challenge safeties vertically and on those seam routes. He can stretch the field at a 4.69 speed. I mean, he just really plays like a wide receiver. And that's one of the big pluses I like about some of these modern tight ends, some of these more athletic wide receiver like tight ends in the NFL, is I just think they're more versatile. I think they are more pro style friendly, modern day NFL offenses want a tight end like a Colston Loveland, like an Elijah Arroyo, like a Kyle Pitts, if Kyle Pitts can ever come around to what we expect him to be. And what's good about Elijah Arroyo is he is a technical route manipulator, a technical route technician, really a route technician, excuse me. He's going to set up his defenders for failure almost immediately with his pace, with his head fakes. He's very good at that. Natural hands. And even though, again, he runs that 4.69, he can threaten the field vertically if he needs to. He can find the soft spots in the zones. He's a legit red zone threat as well. He's going to fight for those extra yards after the catch, which is great to see. Now, he can get overpowered by edge rushers, edge defenders in the run game, and I think overall he can improve more as a strong blocker. Now, the production sample size is pretty limited because we didn't only have one full season of high-level performance against top we did only see one full season of really high-level performance against the top competition to evaluate him because, again, in 2022 and 2023, he was injured and hampered by those knee injuries, which is very unfortunate. So we're going to have to see what that translates to in the next level and what type of production and sample size you can get from Elijah Arroyo in the NFL. But I still love him, all things considered. He is still the number 3 tight end for me in the 2025 NFL draft. At number 2, give me Mason Taylor out of LSU, the son of Jason Taylor, as we know, legendary defensive end for the Miami Dolphins. Mason Taylor, 6'5", 251 pounds, ran a 4.64, which is very solid for the position. 55 catches, 546 yards, only 2 touchdowns on the year. He does have a 50-50 split in his snaps between inline and slot, which shows that he can be versatile and is probably comfortable at playing both positions however much is needed. Now, he did grade at a 67.8 for Pro Football Focus, so that is a bit on the lower end. But 37 of his 55 catches actually went for first downs, which is clearly something that Brian Kelly, Garrett Nussmeier really enjoyed within the offensive game plan. This guy's a natural hands catcher as well, but he does play like a slot receiver. That's why I was putting him a little higher on my list. A very seamless change of direction. He's a reliable target in clutch situations. Again, when 37 of your 55 catches on the season go for a first down, you're going to always have something positive to say about that. He can create those chunk plays after catch as well, over 700 yards after the catch in his college career. He does have advanced routes, which help him create separation consistently against defenders. He's excellent at tracking the ball on vertical routes downfield. Now, he can get overpowered by defenders in pass protection. He's not a very strong run blocker. He does need better route running tempo for those veteran DBs who can kind of telegraph a move if they've seen it a few times before, those veteran defensive backs and just secondary players that have seen it all. You might not be able to fool them as much if your route tempo isn't as up to speed as it needs to be. And he's not very explosive downfield versus safeties, but that's not necessarily needed as much from tight ends. Now, Elijah Arroyo, Colston Loveland, they'll be more prone to stretch a secondary on a seam or just, stack a safety downfield if need be, depending on how the route is ran. You're not going to see a lot of that from Mason Taylor, but this guy does line up well in the slot. He is very athletic for the position, and he plays like a slot receiver, which is very good. And at number 1, the best tight end in the 2025 NFL draft, it's going to be Tyler Warren out of Penn State. 6'6", 256 pounds, ran a 4.68, 104 catches, 1,230 yards, 8 touchdowns. So clearly we understand the level of production he brought to the table, which has a strong case in earning him the number 1 tight end in the class. 47% of his snaps came from the slot. He was graded the highest in the class at the position at 91.3 by Pro Football Focus. This is a big guy, big target with a wide catch radius, reliable hands at all times, no matter where he's aligning on the field. He'll find you those soft spots in the zone as well. Very dynamic after the catch. Again, he's a big-time athlete. And he's a versatile weapon because we saw Penn State's offensive coordinator, Andy Kotelnicki, have Tyler Warren in the Wildcat, running options, jet passes. I mean, he is very versatile. Like, I'm not going to come out with all this Saints gear around me and say that he's the next Taysom Hill, but watching his tape and watching him be versatile and knowing that he ran some options, ran some wildcats, like actually had some rushing touchdowns, I think 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken, out of the gun/wildcat. That's what's making me think that. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be his exact role in the National Football League, but it's going to be something that offensive coordinators and head coaches take note of, and they're going to work that into the offense best that they can if the situation presents itself. This guy's a very dangerous seam runner. He can stack defenders. He's a red zone nightmare. He's going to box out defenders easily if he needs to in order to get his leverage and get his separation to win, have a better success rate in the NFL. Now, he can get overwhelmed by power rushers and pass protection and as an inline blocker. And, the more tight end positions go on, the more I feel bad for listing it a con as them being a blocker, because that's not what they're called upon to do. But if you are a solid blocker at the tight end position, like, people are going to appreciate that. That can help increase your draft stock. But the big thing is, can you find the soft spots in the zone, find the soft spots in the coverage? Can you go up in high point of football? Can you be great on contested catches? Are you a natural hands catcher? Are you a red zone threat? Like, I feel like that's a lot of the things that people look for in a modern day tight end for the NFL. And Tyler Warren brings all that to the table. I do think he relies more on athleticism than technique to actually create separation against man coverage. But again, he can kind of counteract that with finding those soft spots in the zone very well and being dynamic after the catch, being that versatile weapon. So this guy will be able to get coached up more, have better route running technique, and maybe see a good bit of snaps, even more snaps, more than 47% come from the slot. Y'all get in the chat and in the comments, let me know what you thought of my top 5 NFL draft tight end rankings.
Hey, it's AJL here. Appreciate you sticking to the end of the video here on YouTube. You could have chose any other show, but you chose my video, and for that, I'm very grateful. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media. Hit the bell on the channel so you never miss a post. Check me out on all social media platforms. Right here, you'll find a chance to subscribe to the show, a related video, and a playlist. See you guys in the next one.